welcome to the podcast. Ray Wallace here. I got Matt Sanchez from Ace Insurance, and we're testing out a stout today, an Obsidian Stout. It was actually in the fridge for a while, and
you couldn't have fooled me. You couldn't have told me that it was in the fridge for a year.
It tastes okay. I thought it was going to be bad, but we're just testing that out. But today I wanted to talk about homeowners insurance, since I got Matt here, and the importance of it and how to get started when you're purchasing a home and finding that early in the mortgage loan process of getting your home insurance, homeowners insurance started. Matt, what can you tell us about? It's kind of an open-ended question.
That's an open-ended question.
What do you think are the most important things for new home buyers to know about homeowners insurance?
So I think when it comes to insurance, really relationship's going to be key with your agent. Make sure that you have an agent that is going to take the time to explain to you what your coverages are, what those coverages mean, and what's important to you. In insurance, there's 3 different levels of homeowners insurance, right? There's a coverage called basic, right, which is just fire, wind, hail, and certain water coverage. And then the next level up is broad form insurance. That gives you like 7 different perils that are covered. Collapse of weight from snow and ice, and burst pipes in the wall. That's called a homeowners 3 insurance policy, right? And then there's special form, which I pretty much call everything you can think of. It's the bulletproof one. Everything but earthquake and flood, right? Earthquake and flood are separate policies that you have to purchase. Living where we live in this region, a lot of people don't talk about earthquake or think about earthquake coverage. But we're on fault line, right? And between here and Lewiston, this whole region was originally at one point geographically created by earthquakes and fault lines. And then flood insurance. We, talk about flood insurance, and you run into that, and the mortgage stop, we have flood insurance. We have to get a flood insurance program. And one of the things with me, Ace Insurance, I'm a broker, so I'm an independent agent. So what that means is I have access to multiple different companies. I have more access than like State Farm or Farmers or Allstate. Those folks have programs, but it's the National Flood Insurance Program, which is a good program. I also have that, but that just limits you to one opportunity and one quote. When it comes to flood insurance, you can go shopping for your flood insurance and end up in some of these surplus line companies like Trustco and Lloyd's of London, CAT coverage, the National Catastrophic Insurance Program, which can be cheaper and gives you the same coverages. You're just not tied to that National Flood Insurance Program, which I've seen those policies be $5,000, which can wreck a deal for your closing, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. That brings your payment way up if you're
way up, and it can put people out. Oh, I can't buy this house. I can't afford that on their monthly. So yeah, I think just relationship and having an agent that takes the time to explain to you is what's important to me, and that's why I decided to start my own agency. And develop that relationship piece. They're saying that the age of the independent agent or the agent that you can go sit down and talk to is over, because everybody wants to click and buy, and you can just purchase directly online. That's wonderful. That's great that you can purchase your own insurance and you can do those things. But I
don't understand insurance, and I need someone to think, well, should I be getting that? Do I have too much coverage? Do I not have enough coverage?
Right.
I want to know.
And we've been through that, right?
Yeah, like we've been talking about
when we've talked about your insurance, you were at certain liability limits on your auto insurance and the coverages for your home and things of that nature. And after that conversation, hey, you have some fears here. Let's do it. Increase your coverage. Oh wait, we're still saving you $1,000, but now we've increased your liability on your auto insurance, and then also the liability on your home is important. A lot of folks will quote and want the cheapest that they can get on home without realizing that the liability is still tied to it. Well, the first thing that's going to happen if somebody personally comes and sues you for a dog bite, or you hit somebody with a golf ball, or somebody injures themselves on your property hanging out and all down the stairs, that's gonna be a liability lawsuit, because at some point you're liable and you've been at fault. And if you don't have enough coverage for that, then that now puts you in a predicament for your home purchase of a lien on your property, because you've been sued and they're able to come after your property. And then you have done all this work for your mortgage in order to buy your home and purchase your home. Now you're in a tough position. But
so another sort of related to that too. Can you talk about umbrella? I have some investors who do loans for buying investment property, and then they start accumulating a few properties.
Yeah.
And what is umbrella insurance, and when should you get it, and how? What's a good way to structure that depending on what your situation is?
So I think umbrella insurance is important, period. I think if you can get your liability limits up, you can talk to your agent and you can get your limits up there, you qualify for an umbrella. Umbrellas are a cheap extra insurance policy, right? And what that umbrella does is it's excess liability, or it's over the top liability. And those start at $1 million. You can get them at $2 million, you can go up to $5 million. Just depends on how much risk you have. And the word I always say is you want to have as much liability coverage as you do in assets, right? So if you have several different things, your home is a $500,000 home, your liability on your home probably needs to be at $500,000 at minimum, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can do it and you can get an umbrella policy with your auto insurance, right? You have to have certain rates on your auto insurance to apply for an umbrella policy for most places. But again, as an independent, I have a company that I can get you an umbrella policy at $1 million with the lower $100,000, $300,000 limits. It's harder, right, but you can do it. But I think anybody should have an umbrella policy, right? Like, okay. I don't think it matters whether you have multiple,
several properties,
right? You have one auto policy and you have a boat. You have one auto policy and you have a side-by-side. You have just your auto policy, but you like to golf or you like to hunt. Those are all things that have inherent risk that somebody could get injured. And that umbrella kicks in after you've already used up your renter's insurance or your home insurance liability, and it gets maxed out at $300,000 in the lawsuit because somebody's been injured. That umbrella kicks in over the top after that's been maxed out. Now you have $1 million to cover the gap. Right. So it's really just gap coverage. Like, it's not like auto gap coverage, but it is gap coverage for if the worst thing happens, now I'm not going to lose everything that I worked hard for, right? So nobody's going to take what belongs to me and what's important to me away. So that's a great one. A lot of people don't talk about umbrella insurance. Yeah. And I think it's an important
it's not
policy.
Horribly expensive.
Or it's not, right? Like, generally speaking, you can get them for $250 a year. It's $20 a month. $20 a month for $1 million in coverage. If you can have your auto policy and your homeowner's policy up at those rates that matter to you, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.